Maybe to work with the archives. This is what we call a bent wood box. This is made by people who are further south from us, more around the Aleutian and the Panhandle. The trees that they have down there are bigger, they're more able to work with wood, whereas our wood would be floating in the ocean and then we would accumulate it as driftwood. It doesn't have the same qualities after it's been soaking in the ocean as when it's a fresh piece of wood that you can cut down from a tree. And so we would trade for these items. I've seen them in various families' collections, that there are things that were shared. It would be used for many different things, anything from berry collecting to some of the herbs that we use to smudge, to some of the trinkets that they might collect for their personal use. It could have been something to hold other types of food, as well as hunting items that they might put into a certain spot for a certain season, that kind of thing. It also has been dyed with the reddish color. This is a real deep red color, so there was things that were used from other places that's not readily available in our area because of the darker color of the red that's on it. There is a piece of leather that has been used to make a handle for it. I could tell that this leather is a summer skin because it's a real thin skin, whereas a winter skin would be a thicker consistency. It may have been made from a part of the animal, like where the underarm is, because that part of the skin is thinner. But we don't usually make that from this, so that's why I believe it's a summer skin. If we were to use that part of the skin, we would know it would wear faster because it's thinner, and something like this, we would want it to have a strong handle on it because it's got the sacred color of the red on it, and they would want to protect it. They use a process in which they steam the wood to bend it, and they would put it into various holders that they would use to hold it in place, and they would fit the bottom in specifically for this with specific carving that would be done to fit in the groove to go onto the bottom. And then it's bound with more leather to hold the edges together. And no, this has actually got a different type of binder. It's not leather. It might be a plant-based binder on this one.
Would you like some more light?
Yes, if we had a better light, because I can see the grains on it, so I don't believe it's leather that was used to type this. There are various vines and plants that they could use to bind things and use them in tying. And so the plants that we have in the Arctic don't grow to the sizes that they grow in other parts of Alaska. So I don't believe the collection to even do the binding was done from the Arctic. It would have been further south. The person that created this had a lot of skill. You can see that they put effort to make the consistency of the wood very similar, and the woodworker that would have done that would have had a lot of experience to do that. The way that the bottom fits in very nicely, this was probably a waterproof container at one time, but over the years it's dried and you can see a separation. But because when it was first made, I bet it was waterproof. You can see that there's been things that have been stored in here that there looks to be a water line near the bottom of the container. So you could tell that it was used to hold some type of liquid at a point in time, as well as the water changes to the wood on the bottom of this. So definitely it's got a plant base to make the binders on this side. I can see the fibers of the binder. In our area, we would use willow root and various skins to make things that bind, and we might even use baleen. I don't recall if we did this spoon on the last one. Okay, good. Because I did it the time before, but I wasn't sure if I was mixing up both visits.